today's video, I'm going to be telling you how to avoid 20 common editing mistakes that most YouTubers make. For tip number 1 is going to be redundancy. You need to edit out all the repetitive stuff in your video. Take a look at these two different clips. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how to avoid many common mistakes that most YouTubers make, how to make your video even better than it was before to make it even great. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how to avoid 20 common mistakes that most YouTubers make. So as you can see, one of the clips is very redundant and repetitive and it's just not needed in your video. So if possible, if you are able to take some repetitive stuff out, just do it. For tip number 2 is going to be the speed of your video. Now this doesn't exactly apply to how fast your video is, but it's more of how fast you are talking. I can't be talking like this to you guys and saying all this information randomly really fast because it doesn't make sense, right? So I need to be able to slow it down in order for you guys to understand what I'm saying. For tip number 3 is going to be jump cut. In order to perform a jump cut, you're just pretty much going to be editing out the long pauses. So as you can see right now on your screen, you don't want to be able to keep that little gap. You just want to make sure it's nice and fluid. For tip number 4 is going to be don't rush your videos. Most people would like to hit 10 minutes and below while filming, but sometimes you just exceed that, so you don't want to try to rush all your information in 10 minutes. You want to have the best quality for your viewers, not quantity. For tip number 5, now this is going to be a big mistake, but it's improper audio levels. So as you can see right here on the screen, you never want to have any audio around that red area. If anything, you want to keep it in the middle or lower. For tip number 6 is going to be editing out the hardest part. Many people, including myself, would love to be editing the fun parts first. If you edit out the hard parts first, the fun part is only going to motivate you more to continue editing. It's kind of like saving the best for last. For tip number 7 is going to be proper music. Never underestimate the power of proper music. It can totally change your video from one thing to another. So take a look at these clips I filmed earlier today with 2 different types of music. I know I just filmed that cringy skit, but as you can see, it does make a huge difference in the video. For tip number 8 is going to be B-roll shots. B-roll shots can make your videos a little bit more interesting because it makes it look more professional. So please take a look at this clip of what I mean. Here we have the Video Mic Go. This is a lightweight on-camera microphone, and from some previous reviews I've seen, this seems to be quite an amazing microphone at a cheap price. Here we have the Video Mic Go. This is a lightweight on-camera microphone, and from some previous reviews I've seen, this seems to be quite an amazing microphone at a cheap price. For tip number 9 is going to be J-cut. When performing a J-cut, you want to have the audios kind of close together in order to make it a little bit more of a smooth transition. What most people do forget is make sure that you are eye level when you make that cut. Tip number 10 is going to be camera angles. In order to make your video seem like you have a second camera, you can simply just mirror the video and zoom in a little bit more. And here's what I mean right now. So you can see it kind of makes it look like it's another camera. For tip number 11 is bad footage. In order to make your bad footage at least a little bit better, you can add some text, images, and B-roll shots to make it look a little bit nicer. For tip number 12 is going to be sound effects. Sound effects do play a huge role in your video, whether it being a professional movie or just something you do for fun. You can see the difference in these 2 clips of me opening a door with sound effects and without. So as you can see, one of the clips does make the door a lot more louder and the other one not so much. For tip number 13 is usually a common mistake that most people do make, which is lack of planning. You should always think in advance before you start filming instead of winging it. You want to think about what you're going to be filming, how you're going to edit it, the scenery, and your setup. For tip number 14, now this is a main one for the new YouTubers, which is impatience. Many people, including myself, have impatience, especially when it comes to new subscribers and viewers. You always think one day your channel is just going to blow up unexpectedly. I'm here to tell you the truth, and that's just not gonna happen right away. It takes time and a lot of preparation in order to get there. Now this doesn't mean that you won't become successful, but just have some patience until your channel actually does gain a lot more subscribers. For tip number 15 is going to be focusing on your content instead of your gear. You shouldn't be worrying about what kind of camera you're gonna get, your lighting system, your microphone quality, and your setup and layout. You should be more focusing on the content that you're bringing out to your viewers. The main reason why your viewers watch your video is not for your layout and your equipment, but it's for the content that you make and you post out for them. For tip number 16 is don't compare your channel to other channels. I did this many times back then, wondering why this and why that, and how come it just wasn't working out for me. Well, you have to take into consideration how long they've been doing YouTube, how many videos comparing to yours, and that's probably the reason why. But don't stress it out too much, and remember from tip number 14, just have some patience, you will eventually get there. For tip number 17 is going to be experiment. Now this regards to what kind of content you're filming, the place and location where you're at. So don't be afraid to be filming something that you're not comfortable with, because you never know that you might actually like it. For tip number 18, and I struggle with this myself, which is going to be consistency. You need to set a schedule on when you're going to be posting, whether that be every week, every day, or every month. You need to promise your subscribers when you're going to be posting so people know when to watch your videos. For tip number 19 is going to be thumbnails. You usually want to think of your thumbnails as a movie poster. Now the reason for this is because the more interesting the poster is, the more people want to click it and watch it. Usually your thumbnail relates to the content in your video. So if I am talking about editing mistakes, then my thumbnail might be something about technology. For tip number 20 is going to be the end. Instead of taking so long to get to your outro, just be super quick like this and say, hey, click this video right here. I'm going to be showing you 5 tips how to find out what to film fast.